Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AC Brazzi Arena. And introducing our guest tonight, St. Chux Derby Crew, starting off with number 3, it's Slash. Number 1111, Strawberry Milkshake. Number 1701, Trekkie Monster. (1851) Stag. Number 41, Electric Mayhem. Number 4444, Beetle Knievel. Number 49, Benny Drills. Number 51, Big Johnson. Number 516, Jill Sandwich. Number 66, Darth Skater. Number 8008, Melons. Number 85, Wreck-It Rena. Number 934, Guts and Gory. Number 96, Murder Maid. Number 99, The Creature. And I'm unsure of what the current coach's name is, but it's Bobby Sucks, Soup Beans, and everything else, and Shaquille's biggest fan today. Make some noise for SCDC. And introducing your Cape Girardeau Roller Derby. Now it's time to drop it like it's hot, because it's Mad D-O double G, number 033, Mad Dog. Toe stops blazing, anxiety racing. She's quick hit queen who will leave you questioning everything. It's number 1220, L'existential Crisis. Serving lessons on and off the track, it's number 13, Blue Sleigh Shoes. She'll smack you to the floor, then come back for more. Number 1594, Smaxolotl. This landslide will take you down. Number 1725, Fleetwood Smack. She's ready to shake it off, but if you cross her, expect some bad blood on the track. You don't need to calm down. It's number 1989, Swift Victory. This scary skater is going to put that jammer back where they came from, or so help her. It's number 2913, Mike Wazowski. With arms and legs looking like Paschetti, you Betty, be ready. Here's 24, Betty Paschetti. No tagline, just number 32, Baja Blaster. All gas, no cash, number 325, Cash. A little feral, a little fabulous, and completely committed to causing chaos, number 417, Claw and Disorder. Open the box. Unleash the blocks. Number 425, Pandora Blocks. Sweet as a berry, tough as a bear. Get in her way if you dare. Number 4774, Blueberry. Hard to get rid of, and she leaves a mark. Number 501, Mustard Stain. Her diet may be cruelty-free, but her game isn't. It's number 282, Fakin' Bacon. And coaching for Cape Girardeau Roller Derby tonight, the Great Catsby and Car Crash. Of course, we got to give a shout out to our third team that's still undefeated. Big shout out to Team Zebra, our skating officials, our non-skating officials, and our volunteers. Still undefeated. Except maybe in the after party. All right, for any newcomers, we know we do have a few here tonight, so we like to do a little thing that we call a demonstration jam or a demo jam to give you a quick introduction of what roller derby's all about. So roller derby's played by 5 skaters from each team, and skating in shifts called jams. At the front, we have our blockers. They can raise their hands. All together, they form the pack. At the back, there are jammers with the stars on their helmets. They're going to be scoring the points, easy to spot because they have the star. Now, the jam starts in that first whistle. Jammers try to make their way through the pack, helped by their own blockers, hindered by opposing blockers. First jammer out of the pack is going to be your lead jammer. We'll come back to that in a second. But the blockers, not allowed to back block, use elbows to stop the jammers, can't stop by cutting around the track outside of bounds, around the blockers. And then on the second pass, when the jammer scores points for every opposing blocker they pass, these points are signaled in the middle by our jam ref, holding up fingers. And then once they've had enough, the lead jammer can call off the jam by placing their hands on their hips. 4 whistles in the jam. Each team's allowed to substitute as they see fit, and 30 seconds later, we do it all again. All right, I know it's simple enough, right? But you'll pick it up, and let's get ready to derby! Starting off jam number 1, we got Fleetwood smack to the inside, Trekkie Monster to the out in red. Trekkie cuts the inside, finds an inside lane, checked out, gets lead, but Fleetwood is out of the pack furthest. We'll see if Fleetwood can force a call off here, and Trekkie's going to do that, not allow Cape to pick up points, being ahead by about 30 feet. 0-0 that jam. Good strategy call to call off the jam and not allow points for the other team. We'll reset. We got Baja Blaster in blue to the inside. Let me get my roster here. And we got Stag jamming in red to the outside. Baja takes an outside lane. Stag up the middle, and Baja out first, going to be lead. Both jammers away, Baja on a scoring pass now. Pack set up at turn 2. Baja hits the track, pushes the hips forward to get the points, and calls it off. We see 3, I think. 3 points signaled by our jam ref. So Baja getting the hips past 3 opponent blockers before calling it off. And not picking up that 4th one, unfortunately. But Cape off to an early 3-0 lead. Big Johnson 51 in red. Lex Existential Crisis 1221 in blue. And Lex is going to be out first, working those skates, getting out of the pack. Lead jammer. Catsby yelling out instructions as Lex passes the bench. And Lex hits the pack. Starts tapping the hips as hips get passed. No point signal for red. Looks like a full 4 for blue. There'll be 4 points for Lex, extending their early lead. That'll take us up to 7 for Cape. Guts and Gory jamming in red. Is that Fleetwood smack back out there jamming in lead for Cape? And Fleetwood able to pick up 1 for Cape. That'll extend that lead 1 more points up to a total of 8-0. Able to shut out SCDC once again. Truckee Monster back on the jam line to the outside in red. Baja Blaster lined up in I formation in blue for Cape. The pack is swallowing the jam line at the moment. Jam underway. Both jammers initially taken outside lane. Tricky cut to the inside. Nice defensive work forcing Baja out to the inside, but Truckee's out of the pack first, coming away lead. Baja literally on Truckee's heels. Cape lined up at the back. They're going to be the first point. 0 point signal for SCDC, 0 for Cape. We got a 0-0 jam. Good competitive close game so far. Stag back on the jam line to the out. Lex in the middle lane to the inside. And the pack holding the jam line. SCDC lined up right in front. Jam number 6 underway. Jammer swap positions. Lex has an outside lane, but Stag is up further. It comes out first, lead jammer. Everybody in the pack going to be vying for their positions now to try to not be a point. Our jammers are hip to hip, and is forcing a call off there. No points allowed. Reset, and 30 seconds later, do it all again. 51 in red. Big Johnson lined up to the inside for SCDC. And Fleetwood to the out in blue. Cape taking the jam line. SCDC right in front of them. Quick lead established on the outside lane. Big Johnson half a track away from now. And Cape's defense need to wake up quick as Stag rolling up on the pack. Literally hits a couple of them. They go down. And Big Johnson has an inside lane, gets through, picking up 4, calling it off. And that puts SCDC on the board with authority. It'll be 4-0 advantage SCDC. And with that one jam, chips away the lead in half. Guts and Gordy in, Baja to the out, and Cape taking the jam line initially. Guts and Gory out first on the inside of turn 1, going to be your lead jammer. Cape's defense sitting up at the back of the pack at turn 2. Guts and Gory hits the pack. No call on that impact. So 3 points for Guts and Gory. And we have a 1-point game. Cape 8, St. Chux 7. Turkey Monster back on the jam line in red. Lex in blue, and SCDC has the jam line. Cape right in front of them. Both jammers taking the outside lane, riding up behind the other. Lex goes to the inside, trying to find a way through, giving some shoulder checks. It looks like Lex is out first as Trekkie ran into her, gets tripped up and went out of bounds. Got to be recycled almost to the jam line by Smaxolotl. Pack comes around to the turn 2 in the far straightaway. Lex hits the pack. Trekkie's out holding the star. For any newcomers, you have to have the star on a scoring pass, but on that initial, if you're not lead or trying to get lead, you can hold that. 4-point signal for Lex is calling it off with Trekkie rolling up the pack, and that'll extend Cape's lead now to 5. $21.50 on the game clock for our first half. We got Fleetwood Smack to the inside. Stag to the outside in red. And no one in the box. And Cape on the jam line. Jam 10 underway. Fleetwood Smack has daylight and is away. Lead jammer. Fleetwood Smack gets some instructions from Cat Speed saying, like, go ahead and call it. You got somebody on your heels. And so we'll have a 0-0 jam and reset in 30. Big Johnson back on the jam line in red. Baja Blaster playing about 15 feet back off the jam line in blue. SCDC owning the jam line. And Baja skates up slowly. Takes an outside lane, takes that check, and cuts the in, coming away lead. Both jammers away now. Pack set up at turn 1 and 2. Baja hitting the pack on the outside. Going to start calling it off with Big Johnson rolling up on the pack. 0 for SCDC. And looks like 3 points signaled for Cape and Baja Blaster. Lex back on the jam line in blue for Cape. And Guts and Gory for SCDC to the middle / out. Cape owning more the outside jam line. SCDC more the inside jam line. Lex has daylight and is away. Lead jammer, I believe, unscathed there. Lining up her and her teammates. Pack rolls around to turn 2. Into the far straightaway. Here comes Lex on the inside. Goes for a jump. Gets one toe stop in, one skate out. Goes down. Keeping it legal. Going to call it off. Should be no points, I believe, by either team. But our inside jam ref for Cape is getting clarification. Getting 1 point signal for Lex and Cape Girardeau. Next jam up, we got Turkey Monster to the out in red, Fleetwood to the in blue, and a little bit interspersed, mostly SCDC on the jam line. Fleetwood hangs out at skate, hangs on, comes away lead on the inside. Lots of instruction from Coach Catsby. Good assist as Fleetwood was coming around the pack, shouting out offense and to call the jam off. But Turkey coming away with 2 there. Cape able to come away with 3, a 1 point advantage that jam, extending the lead a little bit further. So we now have a 19-9 game, still very close. Only 2.5 passes for a tie game. We got Stag back on the line to the inside, And Baja Blaster lined up about 7 feet back with that 5-second warning approaching the jam line, and the pack swallows the jam line from the front. Baja cuts to the inside, comes away lead. Pack sets up a turn 2 with both jammers away on a scoring pass now. Baja takes that shoulder, takes a hip, gets tripped up. Definitely going to have a point. We're going to see a total 0 for SCDC, and it looks like 3 points for Cape Girardeau and Baja Blaster. Lex back on the jam line for Cape. Big Johnson for St. Chux. And only one person in line at Rosati's concession stand. We've got an official timeout on the floor. A little bit of unruly track. So give us a moment. We'll get that tape back down. Nobody gets tripped up on that. And we'll get reset. Don't forget to check out the merch tables. St. Chux down there with their merch. Cape Girardeau down there with their merch as well, down by the concession stand. We'll also be talking to Simo Nasvi, set up at the philanthropy table at halftime. All right, Big Johnson in red, Lex in blue. Big Johnson out first, lead jammer. Pack finally getting away from turn 1 with Big Johnson rolling through the pack. Ooh, dangerous potential forearms there, but Big Johnson goes out. Betty Piscetti, I think, with the check there. Recycle behind. Both jammers in the pack. I'm going to call it off. We've got 2 signal for Cape. Looks like all 4 signal for St. Chux. Fleetwood Smack lined up in the middle lane, and Guts and Gory lined up immediately behind them. We got official timeout again. Looks like a little bit more track taping. Take a breather, do a little dance on the jam line. Big thank you to our sponsors. Thanks to P-Flag, Bush Pet Products, Rosati's Pizza, and Early Bird Lawn and Landscaping, our sponsors for Cape Girardeau Roller Derby. Get a reminder for any of our friends that may have friends tuning in via a stream tonight. Well, we're having some upload issues with the arena Wi-Fi today, and we're not able to stream a signal out, but we are trying to record it, and we'll post it after the game. We've definitely got download speeds, but no upload. All right, Fleetwood Smack, Guts and Gory in red. And Fleetwood has inside lane and daylight, lead jammer before the pivot line. Guts and Gory checked out, brought back behind the jam line again by Mad Dog. We've got a star pass. I believe that's our star pass. Our first star pass, rather. So Fleetwood in the pack, 4 points. Star pass to number 3 for St. Chux, the pivot. And that's Slash. No pack signal, pack together now. We're going to get a multiplayer block call there. Looks like whatever rest signaling. Cape losing a defender. Fleetwood smacked through the second time. He's picking up 8 total. This will be Slash's first time on a scoring pass. And with Slash rolling up on the pack, going to call it off. 0-point signal for St. Chux. And I believe, looks like 2 final points, so I believe a total of 10 for Fleetwood. Trixie Monster is on the jam line to the inside. And Baja Blaster about 5 feet. Cape down a blocker, only a tripod on the jam line. SCDC with a full 4. Tricky with daylight runs up the inside, coming away lead. Both jammers away. Pack sets up at turn 1 and 2. Coming around to turn 2 now. Rolling in the far straightaway. Here comes Tricky in the inside. Bacon there to catcher, and only one. Gets past, calls it 4. Quick 4, and hit it and quit it. Therefore, we'll take St. Chux up to 17, back to having the lead again. Cape's 34, St. Chux 17. Loads of time on the clock, 13:48 in the first half. Stag on the inside, Lex on the outside to start the jam. Stack's getting ahead of Cape's 4 wall. No pack called. They're going to have to. Oh, for any of our newcomers who don't understand what a new pack is, basically the blockers have to be, as a group, within 10 feet of each other. Once you get outside of that, there's a no contact until they get back together. So Stack's in the pack, gets the hits past a few of the Cape blockers, so that'll be a point per. Looks like 3 blockers they got past, 0 signal for Cape. Big Johnson going to get back on the jam line for St. Chux, with Fleetwood back on the line for Cape. Big Johnson has the outside right now. Fleetwood to the middle and inside. And Big Johnson mixing up at the back of the pack with Mike Wazowski. And she's out first the inside, able to shrug those last couple checks off after getting up after they're checked out and knocked down. Way to stay with it, getting out before Fleetwood can. But the pack comes around to turn 3. SCDC will get through, pick up the 4, and call it off. And it looks like Cape Girardeau wants to take a team timeout here, talk some stuff over, maybe take a little breather. So St. Chux will get to do the same. And Sour Jane out there doing the jam timer dance for us. And then Rosati is ready to hook you up with some tiramisu, some pizzas, some toasted ravs. They also got some side salads, Gatorade water, sodas as well, and some candy bars if you need one. Merchandise tables are set up for St. Chux and Cape Girardeau. I know there's t-shirts, tanks, buttons, stickers, all kinds of great stuff. Coloring books at St. Chux table as well. Let's see, Cape Girardeau I saw had bracelets, a more unique item, lanyards, tanks, kids t-shirts as well. Don't forget we'll have the after party at Rosati, so go get directions from them at the concession stand. Guts and Gory in red in the middle lane. Baja on the outside in blue. Slow start to this jam. Baja has some toes through on the outside. Gets through, coming away lead. Down to 11:33 on the first half clock. Could have up to 2 additional minutes of jam time. Baja's in the pack and calling it off. 0 for St. Chux and 2 signaled for Cape. Existential Crisis to the inside in blue. Trekkie Monster in red. be your lead jammer. Both jammers away now. Trekkie in the pack, checked out of bounds to the outside. Trekkie goes to the inside now, going to call it off with Lex rolling up on the pack. And good work by the defense, holding Trekkie in that pack and only allowing 3, while Lex forced the call off, rolling up on the pack. Stag and red to the inside for St. Chux, Fleetwood and blue to the out. And both teams lined up on the jam line. Stag out first, going to be lead. I believe Stag just looked back and saw that Fleetwood is about 5 feet behind. We'll get a little jammer love and call it off by the benches. For our newcomers wondering why they're calling it off so quickly, it's basically you want to deny the other team the points there, and if they're right on your heels, well, they can easily get as many points as you could, potentially more if their defense is better than yours. At least in that jam. Big Johnson in red the inside. And Baja in blue for Cape. Baja goes for a little toe stop hopping on the inside. Checked out, though. Coming in cleanly and finding an outside lane. Coming away lead out of turn 1. Fleetwood dragging Big Johnson back to turn 1. Still working that initial pass. Baja on a scoring pass. Gets through in that scoring. There's 4. Going to keep it going with St. Chux not making that initial. As soon as I say that, Big Johnson's out. Baja in a second scoring pass now, going to call it off, going down. 2 final points. So Baja picking up 6 that jam, a pass and a half. We got Guts and Gory to the inside for St. Chux, and Lex to the out for Cape. Cape taking more of a tripod to the in, and St. Chux more of a tripod to the out on the jam line. Jam 24 underway. Lex has an outside lane for lead jammer. Lex gets the toe stop in, then goes out immediately. So we'll see here. Oh, signaling all 4 points with that jump as they called it off. Fleetwood smack on the jam line. Tricky Monster quickly racing out there. And the Cape tripod lined up right in front of the jammers. St. Chux doing a little hand signaling. I think Cape's defense did a good job of signaling or seeing what was happening before it happened, as they were able to plow Trekkie Monster out of bounds on that assist, and Fleetwood's able to break out of turn 2, lead jammer. Fleetwood on the scoring pass. Coach Catsby saying to call it. Fleetwood had not much room to tap the hips, but finally gets it off. 3 points and extending Cape's lead. .535 in our first half clock. For our newcomers, we could have up to an additional 2 minutes if we're entering that jam and that last second ticks off. We got up to 2 minutes of jam time. So a little heads up that may happen. But we got Baja Blaster in blue to the end. Going to skate to the outside now. And 1851, that's Stag in red for St. Chux. And they're going to be lead jammer coming out of the inside of turn one. Cape did a good job of being defensive up front. They're trying to get a baby for some reason at the moment. Baja takes a shoulder at that last whistle, shrugs it off. 2 points signal for St. Chux, 2 points signal for Cape. 2-2 apiece, washed jam. 4:40 on the first half. Lex to the inside for Cape. Big Johnson the outside for St. Chux. Cape on the jam line, St. Chux in front of them. No one in the box. Jam 27 underway. Lex skates ahead, working against St. Chux wall. No call, pack signaled. Lex goes, jumps around the inside, gets lead anyways. No pack or pack called. She's going to go like, I got it. Pack comes around the far straightaway. Lex hits the back of the pack, starts calling it off. 0-0 jam. Cape's defense getting a little confused on the strategy, I believe, there. I think they wanted to drag and slow down the pack rather than being at the front of it, but we've got lots of newcomers in this game, and we all learn every game. Guts and Gory in the jam line in red for St. Chux. Fleetwood Smack in blue. Fleetwood has the inside. Guts and Gory tripped up the inside, brought back behind the pack. We got to pile up in the back. Guts and Gory checked out, going to be drugged back by Mad Dog. Fleetwood is going to be your lead jammer out on the far straightaway, though. Nice defense by Mad Dog. Another check there, goes down, gets back up. Guts and Gory going to yield, go out of bounds, come in behind Mad Dog to keep it clean. Meanwhile, Fleetwood on the scoring pass. Has the inside here, gets checked out, and we're coming in behind the pack to keep it clean. Not pick up a track cut. Ooh, that. A little bit of a dangerous hit there. Fleetwood goes down, able to get back up, gets instructions to call it off with all 4 points signaled. Tricky Monster on the jam line. Baja Blaster about 15 feet back. Cape lined up right on the line. Turkey almost finds daylight, runs into the back of Baja, but finally cuts through back to the outside, finds daylight. But Baja's like, well, that's cool. I'll just get back in front and force you to call it off anyways. As both jammers come around to the benches, we'll have a 0-0 jam and reset. A minute 30 on game clock. Lex on the inside. Stag to the out. Penalty box cleared out, and St. Chux more owning the jam line. Lex unscathed, lots of daylight, lead off the line. Lex has an outside lane, calling it off. Skater slow to get up, seeing them get up on the rim is good accord. We got 2 signal for Cape and 3 signal for St. Chux. Fleetwood Smack back in blue on the jam line. Big Johnson back in red up to the outside for St. Chux. And the pack split on the jam line. Fleetwood getting a little sandwich there in the tripod. Big Johnson gets checked out of bounds on the inside of turn 1. Going to come in behind the pack, keeping it clean. Now check to the outside, drugged back by Mad Dog. Fleetwood Smack drugged back to the pivot line. So both are jammers starting to the back of the pack. Nice maneuver by Fleetwood to get the hips back in front, but Big Johnson's out first, going to be lead jammer. Getting that lead jammer taking about 30 seconds, so that's going to eat some of that point scoring time. Fleetwood's away, and Big Johnson in the pack on a scoring pass. 2 blockers to 6. Swift victory with the shoulder to meet Big Johnson and force a call off. Calling it off with the final 3 points signaled. And that is first time's game clock run out. As soon as our refs whistle it dead. That's halftime. All right, now officially halftime. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for a moment. Give you guys a little bit. We'll be back in a little bit. Hockey Hall. Second half set up, ready to go. Trekkie Monster to the inside in red. We got Lex to the outside. And Trekkie out first to the inside. Going to be lead jammer. Lex pulls the star down, forces St. Chux to look for it. Cape's defense up front, not to be a point. Trekkie's able to run up on those toe stops across the track, pick up all four, calling it off, forcing a shutout on Lex. Stag back on the jam line towards the outside in red. Fleetwood in blue to the end for Cape. Cape's defense lined up right on the jam line. St. Chux right in front of them. Jam 2 for our second half underway. Fleetwood has daylight if they can get past that defense. Stag is barreling through, breaking out first. Going to be the lead jammer out of turn 2. Pack stalled at turn 2. And it looks like Cape is passing the star off from Fleetwood to Mad Dog. I believe that's Cape's first star pass of the night. Stag pushing through past Fleetwood now. Gets past and calls it off. Mike bridging the team, keeping them in play, and St. Chux dragging the slow down to the anchor pack. So Mike doing a good job of keeping their teammates in play while St. Chux slowed down the pack there. Baja Blaster in blue to the inside. And 66 we're seeing in the first time for the jam line tonight. Lost my roster here. It's going to be Darth Skater. Baja's an outside lane, lead jammer. Darth Skater's doing some work, mixing up with Cape's defense, breaks away, and that initial Baja about a quarter track away from a scoring pass here. Pack set up at turn 2. Baja goes to the inside jump. We're getting 2 points signaled on the far corner. Zero signal for St. Chux, and we're resetting with Lex back on. And Stag will be out there to join her to the outside for St. Chux. And St. Chux taking the jam line with our 5-second warning. Jam 4 underway. Stag skates ahead. Lex gets checked out. Skater goes down. Lex coming in behind them, just taking it really clean. Taking some shoulder hits that if they weren't both impacting, they could be directionals. Lex is going to be lead jammer here with that signal. So any of our newcomers trying to figure out what was happening there, Lex got lead first. Now you can see that by our refs. They have a couple bandanas on their arms. As they hold up the arms, you'll see those with blue or red. They'll hold a finger up like an L and point at the skater if they're the lead. So we got Trekkie Monster in red to the in, Fleetwood in blue to the out. Trekkie has daylight, runs up the inside, lead jammer. We've got another star pass, Fleetwood to Mad Dog again. Trekkie Monster on the scoring pass, check down the inside. Comes Ben, takes an outside lane now. Cape's defense taking a 4-wall. Trekkie Monster goes out of bounds, but she's behind the person she's blocking with, so 4 points as they call it off and getting past. Zero signal for Cape. A little false scare. One of our skaters slow to get up, making sure to attend to her, making sure they can get back. So we'll reset for jam number 6. 25:09 the clock. Baja to the inside. And Stag to the out. No one in the box. Good night for penalties so far. Baja on the outside with the hip whip from Fakin' Bacon. Don't see the whips so much these days. Baja taking the outside lane. Nice side surf. Gets tripped up. Goes down calling it. All 4 points signal for our pack ref, or jam ref. Big Johnson taking the outside lane. Lex has the inside. Cape's tripod on the jam line and a tripod of St. Chux in front of them. A couple danglers off to the inside. Smacks a lot with a check on Big Johnson, bringing them back to the jam line. Meanwhile, Lex out first, going to be your lead jammer. Again, for the newcomers, that lead jammer status important because you can call it off anytime you want, as long as you don't lose it with a penalty. Smacks a lot, still mixing it up there at the end with Big Johnson, and we got whistles on the far side. No points signaled. And we got official timeout. So breaking the action, a big thank you to our sponsors. Thanks to Rosati's Pizza, serving at our concessions, Early Bird Lawn and Landscaping, also the Bush Pet Products, and a P-Flag. Speaking of Rosati's, no waiting at the session stand right now. They got your tiramisu, your pizzas, some side salads, water, soda, Gatorade. I keep losing my notes. Toasted Rav as well. And we're also going to be there for the after party. That's at 2136 William Street in Cape. Don't forget the merchandise tables are open as well, Cape and St. Chux. Looks like our referees got things talked over. May have been in one of those shaming sessions for who got the zebra cakes. Baja Blaster goes ahead, gets checked out. Trekkie has the same lane, gets away, lead. With jammers side by side, we're going to call it off. No points either team. We'll have Darth Skater back on the jam line for St. Chux to the inside, and Fakin' Bacon on the jam line to the outside. I believe first time on the jam line tonight. Cape holding the front of the jam line, and St. Chux in front of them. 22:46 in game time. Bacon working the toe stops. Who's out first? We got Bacon signaled lead. Whipping the parade back as their teammates swallowed Darth Skater back up. Pack rolls around to turn 3 here. Nice tripod led by Smacks a lot on Blueberry here. Mustard stain and blue sleigh shoes. We got a loud whistle. We've got a directional on one of St. Chux skaters, so they're going to lose a defender. Faking Bacon through, picking up 4, and calling it off with Darth Skater rolling up on a scoring pass. Still a close game, 20-point difference. That's 5 scoring passes difference. So one big jam could open this game up. Stag on the jam line to the outside. Rather, never mind. Lexus to the outside now. Now they're just messing with me. Lex and Stagger out there. Of course, they're more messing with each other and having fun, but yeah, whatever. Stag out first, lead jammer. Lex check back to the jam line, out of bounds. Nice maneuver there around that block. Stag coasting to the pack at turn 1. It's an assist. Cape's on the outside lane there and able to not land a check as Stag gets through unscathed. Calls it off. 4-0 advantage, St. Chux. Well, that jam brings it within 16. Now a 4-jam game. 20-45. Baja Blaster lined up back. Trekkie to the outside. Cape lined up right on the jam line. St. Chux down a blocker. Trekkie through first, and maybe a little bit of assist by Baja there. Baja literally on Trekkie's heels and passing them, forcing a call off here. Trekkie calling it off because Baja getting out first, more likely to get points there before Trekkie could. Stag back on the jam line to the outside, fake and bacon to the inside. Belly box cleared out. Cape owns the front of the jam line. St. Chux about 5 feet in front of them. Jam 12 underway. Both skaters taking inside lane, and Stag looks like had daylight, but fake and bacon cut the outside back to the end, comes away lead first. Catsby giving instructions that Stag's about 10 feet back. Defense trying to get their positions. Big whistles as Bacon hits the pack, picking up 1. 0 signal for St. Chux. Resetting for jam 13. We've got Big Johnson to the outside, Lex to the end. Our pack skating back to the jam line as we get the 5-second warning. St. Chux immediately in front. Both jammers taking outside lane. Lex out first. Jammers hit the pack, calling it off, 0-0. There's a race to the pack for points. Or to force a call off. Line it up for jam 14, Fleetwood to the outside, Trekkie to the end, Cape right in front of the jam line. Trekkie out first, splitting some of the defenders apart and getting in between them. Fleetwood working that initial. Trekkie checked out by Baja, going to be brought back to turn 2. Tripod up front of Cape's defense, some of the newer skaters. And with Fleetwood rolling up on the pack, going to force a call off. 0-0, good job by the Cape's defense there. Holding Trekkie out of bounds, dragging him back. And forcing a call off, 0-0 advantage, holding on to that lead. 17:05. Lining up for jam 15, Darth Skater to the inside, Fake and Bacon to the outside. Cape immediately in front of the jam line. Both jammers taking the outside lane. Looks more like a scrum than a pack. Smaxolotl has Darth Skater and gets past. Darth Skater going to be lead jammer. Pack sets up on the far straightaway, vying for position. St. Chux trying to get up front. Cape trying to get in front of them. Not be a point. Good job of getting in front. With amazing block out there, we're going to get a point signal here. 2 for Cape. Can we get our red jam ref to turn a little bit? Is that 1? Looks like 1 point for St. Chux. So good defense and good speed by the jammer there for Cape to get in there and get that extra point. Meanwhile, Stag back on the jam line. Lex to the outside for Cape for jam 16. St. Chux immediately in front of the jam line. Lex takes it an outside lane, swings that skate around, gets the momentum, keeps those feet in bounds, comes away lead jammer. Stack checked out of bounds behind. Brought back the jam line. Lex in the pack on a scoring pass. That's 4 points. Thought I heard a whistle on the far side. Yeah, I'm seeing some directional signs. We got a directional on the outside lane. Cape's going to lose Cash's defense. Lex on 1 scoring pass, 2nd scoring pass, outside lane with the transition. 2 points signaled, so a total 6. And we hit the 15-minute mark. Still up to 2 minutes of jam time at the end of the game. Cape Girardeau 76, St. Chux 52. Baja Blaster inside, Trekkie Monster outside. Interspersed defense. Jam 17 underway. We got a directional on a St. Chux defender. A Baja Blaster gets checked down on the directional. We've got both jammers out. Trekkie is lead here, signaled by the L by our jam ref. And Baja Blaster's jam ref doing the Tootsie Roll to signal not lead jammer. Stag back on the jam line, and I think for the first time tonight, it's Smaxolotl on the jam line. Both teams down to blockers, so St. Chux lined up front. Smack's taken outside, Stag taking the middle lane. Stag out first, gonna be lead. Smacks with a nice hand whip on the inside. The penalty box is cleared out. We're back to 4-on-4 in the pack. Stag rolls up on the pack on a scoring pass. Meets the tripod directly. So no for Cape. Looking like 2 point signal for Stag and St. Chux. Hard fought too. Darth Skater back on the jam line to the inside, Lex to the outside. Cape immediately in front of the jam line and St. Chux immediately in front of them. Line it up for jam number 19. And it's underway. Got some pinball going on, but Lex finds some daylight in the inside lane finally. Comes away lead. Back on the far straightaway, Lex Existential and a scoring pass. Mad Dog hitting the defendant. Lex gets hit, goes down outside. No point signal either team. Lex slow to get up, but getting up on her own accord. Saw it happen, but it happened so fast. I think Mad Dog checked the opposing blocker into Lex as Lex was going for a outside little jump and instead gets murdered and just goes down and calls it in time. Trekkie in red, Fleetwood in blue. Trekkie outside lane lead. Penalty box clear. Pack comes around to the far straightaway. So where that trackside seating is standing, it looks so good. You get some good views trackside right here with some photos. Oh, some big hip checks going there, but they all missed. Trekkie picking up 3, calling it off. Team timeout signaled for St. Chux. So 11:10 on game clock. Cape Girardeau 76, St. Chux 57. Oh, God, I got to do math here. 10, 13, 6, 19-point difference. No waiting in line down at the Rosati's concession stand. Get yourself a little preview of the after party. Simo Nasby's ready to talk to you too down there at the concession, or down by the concession stand at the foot of the stairs. And then our merch table's ready to hook you up. Tanks, t-shirts, buttons, stickers, bracelets. Let's see, I saw some of those enamel pins at St. Chuck's table as well. And a big thank you to our sponsors. Thanks to Early Bird Lawn and Landscaping, also to Rosati's Pizza, Bush Pet Products, and P-Flag. All right, we line up for Jam 21. 60-second timeout over. We'll get our skaters back on the track. Referees get the unlimited timeouts with the official timeouts, but skaters, they only get the 60. So fake and bake on the inside. Big Johnson to the outside. And maybe a little bit of unintentional jammer action. Big Johnson out first, going to be lead jammer. Fake and bacon checked out of bounds, brought back by Dar Skater, and going to make him look for the star as well. Not scoring points, so she can hold it for now. Big Johnson in the pack on the scoring pass, meets Cape's defense up front. Checked out, going to be brought back. Fake and bacon making the initial. Big Johnson on the scoring. And with that quick little sprint off on the outside, picking up the 4, calling it off just in time with Fake and Bacon about 20, 30 feet back from the pack. Existential Crisis in blue. Stag in red for St. Chux. No one in the box. Cape lined up the very front, and St. Chux right in front of the jam line. Lex switches sides from the inside to the outside lane. Stag's out there as well. Lex back to the outside again and comes away lead. Nice check by Mad Dog, checking Stag out. Mad Dog goes down, but her defenders come in behind her, and so Stag's going to recycle. Lex on a scoring pass, has the outside lane, gets past, picking up the 4. Stag drug back to turn 2 by Mad Dog. Still working the initial. And Stag has daylight, gets past Mustard Stain. And gets out of the initial. Here comes Lex, second scoring pass. Second 4 and calling it off. With those 8 points, it'll take Cape up to 23-point advantage. Trekkie has something to say about that, getting back on the jam line for St. Chux. And Fleetwood Smack back on the jam line for Cape. Penalty box clear. We got a split pack. We got official timeout on the floor. Yeah, we lost our jam timer doing some track taping, so we'll get that taken care of and get reset. And if you want something from the Zotties, get down there quickly because they'll be tearing down before too long. We will have the after party there as well. That's 2136 William Street in Cape. Again, if you had heard from anybody, actually, someone's still missing a phone, has never claimed it. So somebody's been without a phone for a half hour and doesn't have a dopamine addiction. They left it at the front table where you get your tickets. So if you're missing your phone, come to the stage after the game. All right, Tricky to the inside, Fleetwood to the outside. Tricky has an outside lane, lead jammer. Jam 23 underway. Back on the far straightaway, here comes Trekkie. Outside lane, cuts the inside. Calling it off, Cape coming away with one. And all four signaled for St. Chux. Baja Blaster in blue, Stag in red. Baja to the outside initially. Stag the in. Both skaters taking an outside lane as the pack comes around to turn one. A little hip whip there for Baja Blaster. Gets through on the inside of turn 1 and 2. Stag slow to get back up, but able to get back up. Pack comes around to turn 2, or into the far straightaway. Baja Blaster on a scoring pass. Little side step shuffle, 4-point signal for Baja Blaster. Bacon getting away from the pack and let Stag go. Baja, both jammers on the scoring pass. And one final check on Baja as they call it off. That final point signal, a total of 5 for Cape. Takes them up to 90. 6:42 on the clock. Legs in the jam's position for Cape. Big Johnson in the jammer position for St. Chux. Cape right in front of the jam line. The Darth skater kind of in between the two packs. Ready to play a little offense, it looks like. Lex goes for a hop on the outside, gets checked out. Betty Piscetti mixing it up with Big Johnson, but gets mixed up, and Big Johnson gets away first. Going to be lead jammer. Lex still working the initial, trying to get past Darth Skater at the moment, holding the star, forcing to look for it. Lex has it inside and away. Big Johnson scoring past. Run out of bounds by Mad Dog. Going to be run back, maybe about a foot. Mad Dog lands the shoulder check cleanly. Big Johnson picks up the 4 points, calling it off. Shutting out Cape that jam. St. Chux hitting 69. I don't know if that's what they're celebrating or if it's just a hard-fought 4. Tricky Monster to the outside. And now Smaxolotl skating to the outside. It's Tricky coming away lead on the inside. Smaxolotl doing a little skateboard shuffle with the skates. Holding one skate in, pushing with the other to hang on to that inside lane to keep it in. Tricky on a scoring pass on the far straightaway. Has inside daylight. Picks up points and calls it. Getting all 4 point signal by our jam ref. 0 signal for Cape. 4:37 on game clock. Again, up to 2 additional. 17-point game. Baja Blaster lined up about 10 feet back. Darth Skater on the line. Cape right in front of them and St. Chux defense in front of them. Dark Skater with all the daylight. Lead jammer. Great offensive assist off that whistle. Wish I had replay. I'd like to see who did that. Dark Skater in the pack on a scoring pass. So is Baja Blaster. 1 point for Cape. 1 point for St. Chux. Stag jamming for St. Chux. Lex for Cape. Cape right in front of the jam line, and St. Chux and about 5 feet in front of them. And with that 5-second warning, they'll skate back and smother the jam line. Lex taking it inside initially. Almost has daylight, gets a huge shoulder check, goes down hard, rolls back onto the track. It's going to yield off the... No. She got rocked so hard she didn't know if she was out of bounds or not. Her feet landed out of bounds and her body rolled into bounds with all those, 3 rollovers. So we have ourselves our first 2-minute jam here. And I know all our skaters are excited about 2-minute jams. So with no lead jammer, we go the full extent of the jam up to 2 minutes. 4 points for Stag and St. Chux. Penalty time over. Lex back on the track. It's good to see her shrug that check off, and mainly. Lex out. Now on a scoring pass. Stag in the pack, second scoring pass. That's their second 4. 8 so far for St. Chux. Legs in the pack. Takes the shoulder this time. Or hip this time. Picks up the 4. 30 seconds on jam time. Stag back in. Third pass. Here comes Lex on the second. Lex gets through. Second scoring pass. We're tie on points to this jam. Stag breaks through. Mad Dog's there to meet at the front. Everybody looking a little gassed here. 2 seconds. And that's the jam. We'll get you a point update. Looks like Stag picking up that final third 4. Lex picking up a third pass, but only 3. So 12-11 advantage Stag and St. Chux. Hard-fought points, hard-fought 2-minute jam. 1 minute on game time. Could be our final jam. Could have one more. Trekkie on the line to the inside. Fleetwood to the out. No one in the box. No. Fleetwood has daylight. Trekkie's up front. Trekkie's out first. Pack set up our straightaway. That's going to be a jam called. Is that enough time? Oh, there could be a timeout called. We could do another one. I don't know. I'm saying if you want another jam, you better call a timeout. All right, there's a timeout. We will have one more jam. And for any newcomers that don't understand, if we had not called that timeout, the game would be over. So we'll have a jam off on the jam line. A little dance jam. Thank you all for coming out and joining us. I hope you all have had fun tonight. Whose first time was in the house tonight? Who had their first game and had fun? That's right. Now, everybody who's come every time and has always had fun and loves Derby, make some noise! All right, and minute time up's up. One final thank you to our sponsors, P-Flag, Bush Pet Products, Early Bird Lawn and Landscaping, and Rosati's Pizza. Baja Blaster in blue. Slash in red. Baja to the inside, cutting to the out. Baja away first lead. Slash passing Star off to 1-1-1, Strawberry Milkshake. Baja in the pack, slows it down, taking the outside lane. Cuts the inside to make sure not get a penalty. Gonna go ahead and call it off. 3 final points. That will be your game, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, get out here trackside. That is the game. Let's give these teams a big high five as they get lined up back to their benches. All right, going to come down trackside. Make some noise for Cape Girardeau Roller Derby coming away with the win tonight. And make some noise for that St. Chux Derby crew. Big hats off to all of our first-time skaters tonight. Lots from both teams. Amazing job to you all. Both teams looking amazing. Your final score, Cape Girardeau with the win, 105. St. Chux fighting hard, coming away with 86. Thank you all for joining. I know the stream wasn't working, but hopefully the recording took off well, and you all got to catch this on the replay. So, thanks for joining us, and tune in next time.